But yeah, guys, we finally got a guest. This is Shavrolet. I think I said your name right. Like,
Yeah.
makes me
What's
think
up,
of
guys?
makes me think of Chevrolet.
Yeah,
Um,
that's what a lot of people get out of it. But
so why don't you tell us a bit about yourself? Because I personally, I don't know much about you.
oh, okay. Yeah, so I'm Shavrolet. You can call me Chevrolet, or Tyler. I don't care. It doesn't really matter. Whatever's fine for you. I've used Shav as a nickname all through my life, so both of them are kind of like real life kind of names that have gone into gaming stuff, so it doesn't really matter either way. I do a lot of like rhythm gaming. I mean, I'm more of a variety content creator, but a lot of it's Clone Hero, which is kind of like a fan made thing based off of Guitar Hero, with where people can make like custom charts for music and stuff. So like say if like that new song that just came out by your favorite band comes out and somebody's like, yo, I want that in the game, somebody can chart it and put it in for you. You can play that kind of cool stuff. So it's real fun to play overall. It's a lot of cool people in the community to hang out with and talk to. I talk to a lot of people off stream and do a lot of gaming with those people outside of just Clone Hero as well. Recently, I've gotten a lot into TFT, so Teamfight Tactics. So I've gotten kind of addicted to that. So that's what I've been playing a lot of lately. But that's kind of where I've been. And then recently, I've been working out a move over to Mixer, actually. So I was on Mixer for about 6 months before I went to Twitch. Took a 6 month hiatus, about like half a year hiatus. Went over to Twitch for the past 7 months, and then I just switched over to Mixer within the last few weeks again. So that's kind of where we're at now.
You know, it seems like everybody's been playing Teamfight Tactics. Amy, have you looked at it at all? I have not.
Um, so that's one of those that everybody's like, "Oh, you need to play League. Oh, you need to play League," and it's like, I don't need to touch that that drug just yet. I have downloaded it. I did download it a couple of months ago because after Teamfight Tactics came out, I'm like, that looks kind of cool.
Yeah.
So I want to try it. I downloaded the client. I downloaded everything, made an account, and then I just haven't done anything with it yet though. So
I have not downloaded it. I've tried. Every now and then I'll lurk and watch Green play like just regular League, and I'm like, man, you know, it looks like I could do that. And then I tried playing it with some people, and I'm like, I really can't do this. What happened now? What did I? Gosh, dang it!
Yeah.
Look at this. Everything's breaking. Everything's breaking. Everything is breaking.
It's okay. It's okay.
I know. I've never really gotten to League either, but I've watched Skara and Disguised Toast and the offline TV peeps a lot over the past like year or so, and I kept seeing like Toast stream it, so I was like, this looks pretty cool, and I like logic based games, and that seemed a little more intuitive for me than trying to figure out League. So I started watching a whole bunch of stuff because it's really difficult to understand at first, and then when you actually get it down, you're like, oh, this isn't that bad. Like you just got to learn who's the most like broken character at this point, really, and then kind of exploit that, and then do your best to win with it. That's basically how the game runs at this point.
That makes sense. And like me personally, games like that kind of intimidate me because there's just like, it seems like there's so much to each character, and I have a terrible memory anyway. So I would like, I've played things like Smite before, and I'm like the worst teammate ever to have. So I always get like super embarrassed because I'll get into a game and I'll try to play with just random people on the internet, and they just hate me because they're like, oh man, this person does not know what they're doing. So I'm like, I better not.
Yeah, it's not bad. I've played Hearthstone for a while, and so that takes a lot in depth to try to figure out like that specifically. It's not necessarily about learning the cards as much as like what cards run together and that kind of thing.
Right.
Like I don't know if you've ever played like Yu-Gi-Oh or anything.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah. So it's similar to Yu-Gi-Oh, but with like a few extra added layers on top of it. And
right.
So I really like that aspect. And TFT is essentially like that, but with 3D models. And then it just auto plays your stuff instead of you physically attacking cards and stuff like that.
Okay, that's really cool. Yeah. I've played Hearthstone a bit in the past. I haven't touched it in years, but that's really cool. Okay, you've made me interested in it a little more.
Yeah, you should definitely check it out. Just look at like YouTube videos or something. Like if you don't know, because I played my first few games in just like standard, because they have standard and ranked, and like you will get destroyed if you have no idea what's going on, because you have to level certain characters and do a bunch of weird stuff. But once you figure out like, oh, I have to do this, then you're like, okay, that's not actually as complicated as it looks. So definitely recommend checking it out.
Yeah, that sounds a lot more infighting than League. League just kind of scares me with all the complex character stuff that they have. So I was like, if that's anything like League, I don't know if I can. I don't know. I don't know if my memory can help me remember everything there is to do in that. So that's really cool, though. It sounds really fun.
Yeah. Do you have like a main game you guys are playing right now, or is there like a couple things you're rotating through?
Let Paladin talk about his main game.
I have a very so I'm into survival games. I'm into a lot of different games, but here lately, since the middle of January, I've literally been stuck on playing a early access game called The Isle. It's just dino survival, basically.
Okay.
And I've been putting way too much time into that game. I'll have to go and look now, but I'm willing to bet I've got over I should be coming up on 1,600 hours on the game.
Nice.
And yeah, I've been no lifing it. That's basically all I stream. And then here recently, I've been like, afterwards, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna play something else. I gotta play something else for a little bit. But I have a lot of fun with that. What about you, Amy?
Well, most of you who know me know that I'm pretty big into Fallout. I did the whole leading up to Fallout 76. I did the full vault suit and pretty much swore my life away to that. But like normally I'm a variety streamer, and like I'm back to variety now. Like there for a big chunk of time I only did Fallout, but overall I'm a variety streamer. At the moment I'm really big into Minecraft, which I think a lot of people have kind of went back to Minecraft, but I like Pixelmon, which is a Pokemon mod for Minecraft, and I've been into the Digimon story games, playing the first one, which is Cyber Sleuth. When I finish that one, I'm going to go on to the second one, unless somebody talks me into playing the Isle, because they keep calling me out, like, oh, you need to play the Isle with me. And so I did make a promise to you the other night that I would play after I finished my Digimon game. So
now look, here's the real question though. You don't have to take care of these Digimon, right? Because I'm afraid you're not going to finish this game if you have to, like, feed them and keep them healthy.
No, this is more like the Digimon story games are more like Pokemon. Like it's like monster collecting and you battle. So no, okay. I don't have to take care of them like my V pets that are still on my desk.
Still dead, huh?
Oh man. Yeah, no, I've been wanting to get into Minecraft on PC. I used to play it like a lot on Xbox with some friends ever since like 360. But I want to get on I think I'm actually gonna buy the game tomorrow, and I want to start like a Feed the Beast modded server. And that'd be real fun, because I used to watch like a lot of videos of people doing Feed the Beast, and it looks real interesting with all the like cool stuff in it, and then like all the different like areas of the world you can like warp to and stuff, and it just looks like it has a lot of depth to it. So I'm interested to try to get into that soon. So
oh yeah, Minecraft, it's one of those, like, when you look at it like the base vanilla game, yeah, I mean there's still a lot to do with it, but when you start diving into mods, there's so many options, like Feed the Beast, Skyblock is another really popular one, and then like I said, Pixelmon. I'm a nerd, and I really love like my Japanese anime stuff. So of course Pokemon, I'm like, yes, Pokemon and Minecraft together. Obviously, I'm a big fan of that. But yeah, I mean there's so many options with Minecraft. So I used to play it a lot on the Xbox 360, like way back, like when it first came out on the Xbox, and a few years ago I finally got into the PC one. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so much better than the console version. So if you liked it on the Xbox, you'll definitely like it on PC, I think, anyways. And Java is the one you want, because there's the Bedrock edition, which is like the Windows 10 store, and It's cross-platform with Switch, mobile, and Xbox One. But Java is the one that you can do the mods and stuff, which you probably knew that, but some people don't.
Yeah, I'd like talked to a couple of my friends that have been playing it pretty heavy, and they were saying get the Java version. The main thing I'm stoked for PC besides modded stuff is like all the cool texture packs, because you get all the like super high definition, crazy stuff versus like just your base whatever you can get that you could buy off of the Microsoft store or whatever on Xbox. So I'm really stoked for that specifically.
Oh yeah, and like texture packs and shaders and stuff can make it look like a completely different game in a way. Like it's kind of incredible to see what a difference that can make.
Mm-hmm.
You will not want to look at the normal version after you use a texture pack for sure.
Yeah, I used to watch like Nate Shot's been one of the like biggest people I've watched for the longest time, and I used to watch him and like the Optic people like just play it all the time back in the day, and that was like one of the funnest like month or two like segments of just watching a whole bunch of different people playing the same game at one time. So I'm hoping I can get like a group of people going to get a whole bunch of stuff involved with that at some point, which will be real fun.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of fun with a group of people on a server for sure. Like I can play Minecraft sort of by myself, but I get bored really easy. Like I like to make like projects within a server. Like we work together to build some big project, or one person goes to look for one material and then somebody else goes to look for something else. Like it's so much fun as a group.
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
So what I'm hearing is I need to play with you so I can break it as you try to build it. Be like, oh, you wanted this here, and then just completely mess it up.
Yes.
I can do that.
Yeah, you need to start playing Minecraft. There's probably like a Jurassic Park mod for it.
Oh,
well, you know, I did tell you, I did tell you that I would play Pixelmon, and I still haven't done that.
Yeah, you broken promises.
Whoa. Hold on now.
Broken promises.
Oh man. So okay.
Can't do that to people.
Look, my issue is I'm the best there is at procrastinating, and so it's not that I broke the promise. I just haven't gotten around to playing Pixelmon yet because I just keep procrastinating it every time that I'm like, oh hey, I'm gonna do this today. I'm like, I'm gonna be a little lazy today. You know, I don't think she'll be too mad at me yet.
It's like, I think you just described the story of my life, not yours. Because that's how I am. Because you're like, play the owl with me. And I played it I think I played it twice. And I was like, oh, I'm just super confused. Well, and it's crazy people, but
it gets crazier. Don't worry. For your first time, I know a few people that like doing some little surprise jump scares that
I have seen.
So I'll hook you up on that. But I was gonna ask, what have you been up to this week, Chab? We kind of told you a little bit about like what we talked about on here, and that's basically what it is. Like, what have you been up to this week, man?
Up to this morning or this week?
This week, like just just like whatever, man. Like what random things. I don't know.
I mean, mainly just like getting back in the gym because I took like a week off. So like yesterday I got back into the gym and all that. And then I don't have work until Saturday, so I'm kind of just hanging out and just do whatever, just playing random games. Instead, I've been trying to grind my rank offline for TFT because a lot of that is like, it's not entirely hard to rank up. It's just you got to play a lot of games to do it. So I've been doing a lot of that. Trying to get back into like Overwatch and stuff, but I've been playing. So since like, I don't know if you played Paladins, the game, or anything like that, but I've played with a couple of my friends that I've known since like middle school and stuff, because they play on Xbox still, so that's cross-platform, so we'll play that. And they've been trying to rank up, and they're like, oh, we don't have a support. And I'm like, well, you know, your boys are supporting like every game mode. So I go on there and I just drop like 60k healing and basically carry the team and then go on from there. And then other than that, like the end of the week, me and my dad are going to see Korn and Alice in Chains, so that'll be real fun.
Nice.
Yeah, so that'll be a fun show.
Paladin is a big fan of corn.
No, we are not. Hold on. We are not having. No, that discussion. I am not. I really think Green would kill me for that discussion on here. All right, that was a very interesting conversation that happened in my stream. Yeah.
No, I'm talking about last
Oh,
last show.
okay.
We had,
The
like,
last show.
week.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
actually, you say that, and it's funny because what you talked about could be tied back into what my stream the chat decided to talk about. Yeah, the corn.
The corn shirt.
Yeah, the corn shirt.
What
Yep.
happens in the cornfield stays in the cornfield.
You know, you really don't. I can't. Oh man. Anyway, I'll allow it. No, Step. No, you won't allow it.
I think this is the point where you like pull up one of those clips on screen and show context.
Nope. I'm just gonna let you all run with it because some of you probably already are picking up what's being thrown down. Anyway.
Yeah, no. I'm really stoked for the Korn show though, because I've listened to them since I was like 8 years old. They were like one of the first like heavier type of bands I was into, and I'm really into like the type of like feeling and like the meaning behind like a lot of their songs that Jonathan Davis writes. So that's like why I'm super stoked for the show. And then Alice in Chains, like I like a pretty decent amount of their music. I've heard a lot of their stuff for a while, so I think it'll be a fun show. I just saw Slipknot a couple weeks ago, so that was a fun show as well. It was like Slipknot, Gojira, Behemoth, and Volbeat, but that was like my third time seeing Volbeat, so I wasn't as stoked for them. But the rest of the bands were pretty solid seeing them for the first time. So
That's really cool. I'm super jealous. I saw Alice in Chains. I was probably like 6 or 7 years ago. But they, from what I can remember, they put on a pretty good show. So that's really cool.
yeah, weren't they putting out new music recently too? I haven't like followed them too heavy, but I think I heard something about them putting out new music recently.
Maybe. I haven't really kept up with them in the last few years, so I'm not sure, but
Yeah, I know.
That's pretty cool.
I know the new Korn album is supposed to be out early-ish to mid-September too, so I'm hoping they drop a couple of their newer songs on there. So we'll see what happens. But they've had like a general set list floating online that I've been checking out, and they have a couple songs that I've really enjoyed. So I'm hoping at least a few of those are played for sure.
Hopefully so. Fingers crossed. You have to tell us how it is.
Oh, I will.
Like I said, I'm super jealous.
I'm sure I'll be posting a lot of videos on Twitter like I did the last concert, so those will definitely be dropped on there.
You know, I've actually never been to concerts like that ever for any of the for anybody that I listen to. I've never been to any concert unless you count the TwitchCon party last year, which even then that was like I get like, I mean, I don't know if you want to call it necessarily a concert or what, but I've never been to one.
Oh my gosh, you need to go to like Riot Fest because it's right there.
Mm-hmm.
You're right there at it.
I didn't even know Riot Fest was a thing.
Yeah, you just gotta, you just need to look online and find stuff near you and just go for it.
Amy's, the look on Amy's face right now is just...
Yeah.
You know, like that, that like what face meme where the guy's like he blinks a lot and he's just like super confused. That's me right now.
You know, I've always wanted to go to because I'm in Colorado, so I mean it wouldn't be too crazy of a drive, but I've always wanted to go to Iowa to go to like the home state Not Fest, where they have like the week-long show going on with like hundreds of bands. I feel like that'd be a real fun one to go to, but I couldn't imagine being outside for that amount of time with that many people at the same time. So I don't know if it'll ever happen, but
that would be cool. I've went to I think it was in 2007. I went to Voodoo Fest, which is in New Orleans, and that's an experience because music festivals, especially outside. You get all kind of colorful characters. Mix that with Halloween and New Orleans, and it was. I can't even begin to describe some of the things that I saw down there, but it was super fun.
Yeah. I think the whole thing we've gotten out of this conversation is we need to get somebody to go with Paladin and take him to a show at some point.
Yep.
Just make him get thrown right into the pit and see how he handles it.
Just shove you in the middle of like a circle pit and be like, "Good luck."
Yeah.
Well, you're like 10'7", so you'd be fine.
Yeah.
Nobody want to mess with you. They'd be like, "Oh, okay. Watch
You
out, this
guys-
gonna beat us up."
You guys will shove me in there, and everybody, you're just gonna like back me like. What?
For the amount that people talk a lot of BS about metal fans and stuff, though, a lot of them are like really respectful. So like and they just don't want to deal with like hurting somebody unintentionally for stuff like that. Because like one of my friends I was telling you about that plays Paladins that I've known since like elementary school, his brother had like a sling because he like fractured his forearm or something, and they went to a hardcore show. And when he wanted to go in the pit while he had the sling on, and nobody would touch him, they're like, "Nah, dude, you're not moshing with us with a sling on. Like, nobody's gonna touch you. You just need to go. We're not doing that." And he was like, "Man, I just want to jam out, and you guys aren't letting me do it. This isn't fun." So like a lot of people are like pretty respectful for music stuff like that. I think it's like any genre or anything like that. A lot of people just give it a bad name for like the vocal people that are just ignorant, I guess. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I totally agree. Some of the nicest people you could meet could be at a concert.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Exactly.
Well, I wouldn't know.
Well, you will know, okay?
Yeah.
That's why you gotta go.
At the TwitchCon party, we have to open up a circle pit to Old Town Road or whatever that song's called.
Yeah, you're gonna open up a pit to Old Town Road.
You guys are gonna be looking around for me, and you're just gonna see me walking the opposite direction because I'm gonna sit there. And I'm gonna know what Amy's up to. I know what she's plotting now.
No, it's gotta be like since it's like Old Town Road, you've got to do like a circle pit, but in the middle of the circle pit is just like a bull that you have to ride, and that's how you have to handle the whole situation.
While doing the Numa Numa dance.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Ride a bull while doing the Numa Numa dance. Okay. I hope everybody's gonna be recording because it's gonna go viral.
No, okay, not yet. Each time we do this, I come up with a new dance that we're gonna do at the TwitchCon party. You know, the wacky, inflatable, wavy arm tube band. How they're just like they just flop everywhere. You're gonna do that as a dance. You're just gonna stand in the middle of a big group and then just like wave your arms and like smack people with your arms because you're like freakishly tall. So you just like wipe out like an entire section of the crowd. It's like, don't worry, it's just how I dance.
That's just how I dance. I'm sorry I slapped you in the face 20 times, and I'm sorry I knocked you over. It's just how I dance. Don't judge me, okay? I'm feeling really judged and insecure right now.
You just get a shirt that just says "Just let me dance." Like, don't talk to me. Too busy dancing.
What's some of the craziest things you've seen? It sounds like you've been to obviously quite more concerts than I've been to. What's some of the craziest stuff you've seen, Adam? Kev?
I don't know about craziest. I mean, a lot of the time you just see people that are idiots and drink too much and just pass out because they don't drink water, and it's like 90 degrees out, so that happens a lot. But I don't know. I've been pretty close to singers and stuff before. Like, so we were at Carolina Rebellion, like one of the first, I think it was the first year it ever started. We went to Carolina Rebellion, which, if anybody doesn't know, it's a festival in North Carolina where they get a lot of bands, and they had a lot of bands like Seether and Avenged Sevenfold and Godsmack, Hailstorm, all those like pretty big names. They had like 3 or 4 stages, but we were at the main stage, and me and my dad were actually near the fence. And when Hinder came on, the singer actually came near us, and we got to like, you do like the whole like little like you just grab hands and you're just like, yeah, dude, that kind of like whole companionship kind of thing. So I got to do that with the lead singer of Hinder, and then the recent concert that I went to, or one of them, it was Shine Down and Bad Flower, and then a couple like local bands. But when we saw Bad Flower, that's like one of my favorite bands recently, and the singer came up because we were like right on the rail right by the stage, and he was right there. So I got to sing like right next to the singer with like the other people there, so that was pretty cool, and a bunch of stuff like that. So mainly kind of stuff like along those lines and all that, but I'm hoping just like in general, like a lot of the stuff I've seen is like maybe just either just being that close to the musicians that I've liked for a while, or seeing people I haven't, like I've listened to since I was really young, like obviously Slipknot. That's a pretty crazy show to go to if you've listened to them for a while, especially because they're such like a big name band at this point. So that was a pretty fun show, especially because like it was in the middle of like what was it, the Pepsi Center here in Colorado, so it's where the Denver Nuggets play. So they had like the general seating on, or the general is what they call the general tickets on the floor, and there was like a mosh pit in the middle of like the Denver Nuggets like stadium, so that was pretty fun just to see that. But other than that, nothing like too crazy.
Well, that's actually kind of like the stuff I was talking about, because I know you said like there's some people that try to claim like the crazy stupid stuff, all the rumors that they try to spread happens, and that's just something I was thinking is like, what was something that you found like crazy or super interesting, something you thought was awesome that happened at those shows, and that's pretty cool to hear, because like I said, it's something I haven't experienced, so it's neat to listen to other people's stories.
Yeah, I definitely recommend going. Like some bands sound even better live. Like I've seen Alter Bridge live. I don't know if you're into them, but the Miles Kennedy's voice sounds even better live than it does like pre-recorded. So like a lot of the time, some of the musicians' stuff sounds even cleaner live, if that makes sense. So it's definitely like an experience just for that kind of thing too, where you're not going to hear that exact type of thing anywhere else besides at a live setting, you know?
Oh yeah, makes sense. That's really cool. I bet they do sound really good live. Crazy stories for me. Okay, so I said that I went to Voodoo Fest. I actually, okay, so I went in 07, and I love like a huge variety of music. Like I can't really say like one specific genre is my favorite, but my favorite band is Fall Out Boy, and I've loved them for like forever. And I went in 07 to see them, and I actually got up right next to the like barrier fence, and they did a cover of Mr. Brightside, and there was this like super drunk stinky lady beside me, and she had like on a tank top, and she was just so gross, and she was like jumping up and down, like doing her arms. I was like, oh, I love this song. And like when she would jump up and down, like her armpit was just like rubbing up on me. I'm like, oh, this nasty lady is so sweaty, and she's rubbing her drunk sweaty armpit on me. And at shows like that, you have like crowd surfers, and I was right up against the fence. So whenever somebody would come over, I would have to like duck down so my head wouldn't get smashed against like the railing. And when I would duck down, I would just like elbow that lady in the ribs as hard as I could. I'm like, maybe she'll just leave if I like beat her up enough, because she was so drunk. She's probably like, oh, what's hitting me? I don't even know. And she finally was like, she's bothering the like the security guards at the front. She's like, can you let me on stage? Can you get me a pic, please? Please. And she's like trying to kiss on them and stuff. I'm like, gag. And they finally were like, nah, you're getting out of here. And they like grabbed her and like pulled her over the fence and made her go to the back of the line. And then I went to it was in Biloxi, Mississippi. It was called Uproar Fest, and it was Avenged Sevenfold. I'm trying to remember if Seether was there or not. 3 Days Grace, Bullet for My Valentine, and a few others. It was a few years ago too, and it was like this big like arena, and like I had like a seat, so I was like up in the seats, but they had like an open like general admission area, and there was this couple, because like a band will play, and then there'll be like this break in between, and then another band will go on for their set. And in one of those breaks, there was this couple, and they were like about to go at it. I mean, they were all over each other, and the dude starts like trying to take her clothes off, and everybody in the crowd was just like, "Oh my gosh!" And they were like, everybody's watching them, like screaming and stuff. And finally, the security guards had to come out and get them, and they wouldn't like get off each other though. They were just like clinging to each other, trying to rip their clothes off. And I'm like, oh my gosh, is this really happening in the middle of this huge place with all of these people? What is wrong with you? So that was kind of crazy. And then I don't know if you guys know who MC Chris is. He's like a nerdcore rapper. Okay, so remember a few years ago the like Honda commercial that had the Hoodie Ninja song? If you guys heard it, if you heard it, you'd probably know what it is. Anyways, he's really cool. You should look him up. If you like that kind of stuff, he's kind of a very interesting, unique genre. But I went and saw him at this little like crappy hole in the wall place in Birmingham, and there was like, I mean, it was a really tiny show. It was like maybe, I don't know, probably less than 50 people, and I'm pretty small. Like those of you who don't know much about me, I'm like 5 foot, you know, so I'm super short. And there's a bunch of big dudes, and there was this one dude that was like, he's probably, you know, 10'7", like Paladin. He's a pretty big fella. And he had this cap on that said Fatal Fury on it with a feather stuck in it. And he was just like right in my way. And I'm like, I can't see anything because this dude is just smack dab in the middle of my view. And then he noticed I was behind him, and he was like, oh, you're really tiny. Here, I'm going to get you up to the front. And he just like grabs me and starts like shoving people out of the way. He's like, move out of the way. She's tiny. Let her in the front. And I was like, you aight, dude. You aight. So I've seen some pretty crazy stuff, but so it's probably the craziest. And Patrick Stump is my husband. He just doesn't know it yet, and I've been able to hug him and get pictures with him 3 times now. So I'm pretty proud of that. But yeah, besides that, that's all the craziest show stories I have.
She didn't wash the shirt she was wearing when she hugged him.
I have washed. Okay, I have washed those shirts. Yeah, because it has other nasty people sweat on them.
You bringing up like that couple ripping their clothes off. I've never seen anybody doing it to that extent, but you do get a lot of idiots that'll like straight up just be making out.
Oh yeah,
like real hardcore. Like it's very above PG-13 standards at a lot of those shows, and it's just like, yeah, can you not? That's like my main issue and stuff. But that's not even like, that's like all shows in general. You'll get a bunch of people like that, especially if I don't know, EDM shows are pretty bad for that sometimes, just because of like the kind of stuff they take and all that, because you know, like metal shows are probably like alcohol and stuff, but then you got like, I'm sure everybody knows the kind of like things associated that people take with like EDM shows and stuff like that, and people get a little bit too lovey when they're on those kind of things, and that's just like a whole nother mess when you're at those. But
when they get to the point that they see the color purple, I mean, when they hear the color purple, that's what
when they see the color purple, huh?
When they see the color purple.
Yeah.
When you hear the color purple.
Yeah, whatever makes me see the color purple, I'll be happy to take. That's fine.
just ignore me.
Oh man.
I'm sure that made that a memorable concert there, Small Panda. I don't know if you guys saw what she said in chat. But so, you know, you also brought up how you were 5 foot, and I'm glad you did, because I was thinking that when you're talking about that lady that's like drunk and leaning on you, she probably didn't even realize you were there. She probably just thought she was like bumping part of the rail or something.
Ha ha ha. Oh, talking about that again, I said that I had to duck down to avoid the crowd surfers. I actually did get hit by one of them because I didn't duck fast enough. So like, here's the rail, and I was like trying to duck down, and somebody's butt just like lands on my head, and so my head just gets like crunched up against the rail. So I had like this really awesome gnarly black eye that covered like half my face. I was like, okay, Whatever.
Nice.
Worth it.
She's saying that, but the truth is, she decided she wanted to fight with the security guard.
Yeah, it's like, give me Patrick's stump or I'll beat you up. And he just punched me.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
And
And I had to... Go ahead.
No, you're fine.
I was just going to say, I had to be careful at that show, though, before I got up to the fence, because people started trying to, like, pick me up to send me across the crowd, like crowd surfing. I'm like, no, don't pick me up, because I'm, like I said, I'm pretty small. I'm roughly the size of a 4th grader. So, like, people kept trying to grab me and pick me up. I'm like, no, do not. Do not touch me.
No, yeah.
Anyways.
There's a lot of singers at concerts too. If it's like depending on the venue, like there's a venue here in Colorado called the Ogden, and it's like the best way to what most people will call it in, like, I guess like a slang style, I guess, would be like a sweatbox show. So it's like everybody's kind of compact. There's very limited room, and it's like a smaller space. So even if you're in the back of the area, you're still like relatively close to the stage.
Right.
And like a lot of the artists that are there will like crowd surf themselves on top of that, instead of like just the people crowd surfing. So that's always fun when that happens too.
Yeah, those kind of shows are always fun but miserable at the same time. There's this which I think they've relocated since I've been, but I went and saw Say Anything at a place called the Masquerade in Atlanta, and it was miserable. It was just, like you said, like a sweatbox. It was just, everybody was just like crowded up. It was super sweaty. It was super gross, but it was a good show. I really like going to like the tiny little venues like that, because it's such a more like intimate experience, because you get to be so close to the bands and stuff. And sometimes after the shows, they'll come out and talk to you, or like you said, the singers will crowd surf themselves. So it's really cool.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know how I don't know how you could handle being around like that close to that many people. I don't.
I'm just like, panic attack intensifies.
I mean, you gotta throw out your pros and cons. It's like, well, you know, there's my favorite artist about maybe 12 feet in front of me, and all I gotta do is put up with these like 12 idiots that are around me. Then, you know, it usually weighs out pretty heavy if you're like, well, you know, I like this artist that much, and I'm in distance where I could probably touch him if they came up to me. So yeah, I mean, that just makes it a lot better. And then there's a lot of shows too where especially at like bigger stadiums, they'll have like seats that are designated so you can sit in stadiums if you don't want to stand by people in general admission. So like if you don't want to be a bunch of people, you could just stay in that and you can still see the show from like a little bit of a distance, and you're not just like standing for 6 hours in a group of people. You can just be sitting in your designated seat, and you don't have to worry about people taking your spot if you have to go to the bathroom or something. So that's always something to think about too, depending on the venue.
Yeah. There's like pros and cons, because like when I was younger, I was all about trying to get as close to the stage as possible. Like, yay, I wanna get so close to see them and stuff. But now that I'm not old now, but you know, as you get older, you're like, oh, my knees bother me.
That's denial talking. We're getting old. She's just really trying to fight it, like really hard.
I'm not old, okay? So it's just, you learn to appreciate the seats. You know, you're like, I've seen this band several times live. I'll sit in the seats instead of trying to fight with people in general admission, because, you know, depending on the band and the venue, you know, it definitely, situation will change. But yeah, I've spent my time in the general admission. So now if I have an option for seats, I'm like, I want them seats. Which most of the time, even when you get a seat, everybody else in seats stands up, so you have to stand up to see anything, so you don't really get to sit down the whole time.
Amy, not all of us have to deal with that. When you know, you're sitting down and somebody stands up, a lot of times you can still see past them, go over them.
Well, I don't have that luxury, okay? I'm about the same height as normal people sitting down when I stand up. So excuse me that I'm not some freaky giant.
People are happy to see, you know, they're going to a movie and they see that the seats aren't really like higher than the others. They see Amy walk in and sit down in front of them, and they're like, yes, this was a good seat. I don't have anybody blocking my view.
Oh house. You're so kind.
I love how it just turns into personal attacks after.
Yeah.
This is
We have like
what
a
she
sweet
and I
discussion
do.
about concerts, and then
He just
it
picks
just
on
goes
me.
all downhill. Yeah.
See how mean he is? He does this to me all the time.
I'm the
Picks
worst.
on me. Always
He
tries
said-
to embarrass me.
He says I'll play Minecraft with you, but it's just to grief you.
Yep, yep.
Hey,
That's
it actually that's not on purpose. That's the beauty of my talent is I don't intentionally do it. It just happens.
The energy just radiates off your being. It just happens.
Well, it was like, so she got me to play Stardew. Like she was playing it back when the multiplayer beta came out. And I had a friend that wanted me to play it, so I had it, but I had barely touched it. Okay, and she's telling me we got to do this, this, and this. I mean, like, oh, so you want this wooden post here? No, I don't want that there. Hey, move this. Oh, you want this move? And then I end up breaking the fence. But like, I'm not doing this on purpose, man. I'm just like, I misunderstood, so I just go back to collecting rocks because that's about the best I could do. And, but yeah, so it's like, yeah, I'll play Minecraft. I hope you don't mind, you know, something going horribly wrong. But
yeah, it'll end up being you'll be one of those people that's like, oh, I found diamonds, and then you use like your fist to break it, and you don't get any diamonds.
okay, now
You just
hold
completely waste 'em.
on. I'm not that bad at Minecraft, okay? But I am that guy that without thinking will dig down, and it's like, oh, there's nothing below me but lava. And
Yeah.
I fall to my death. I am that person.
That reminds me. Okay, so we were talking about how, you know, I used to play Minecraft a lot on the Xbox 360. And with the Xbox 360, you can do like split screen. So when I was a lot younger, me, my brother, and two of our cousins would come over and play on the Xbox with us. So you know, we'd have like this 4-player Minecraft. You know, afternoon. They'd come over after school and we'd all play Minecraft together. And one of the cousins, both of them were a good bit younger than us. I think one at the time was like probably 12-ish and the other one was like 8 or 9. So they were, you know, younger kids. And the one had found diamonds and he was like, oh, look, I found diamonds. And he starts to try to mine them with like a wooden pickaxe. And I start screaming at him because I'm, you know, Minecraft is life, okay? You don't play around with this. So I'm like, no, don't you do that. And I'm like getting all like flustered at him. And he just kind of gets quiet. And
You yelled at your cousin.
I look back, I'm like, oh my gosh, I was so mean. I didn't mean to. It was just more of like an urgent thing versus a mad thing. You know, like it's just like, oh no, 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 no. But it came out so much worse. And so he was like scared of me. And back then, we all like kind of lived close. And, you know, I was old enough to drive to school and stuff, and they would ride the bus. And where the bus would drop us off, it was still a little bit of a walk to all of our houses. And I would pull up to him in my car, like, hey, do you want me to, you know, drive to your house so you don't have to walk? And he'd just be like, he'd just shake his head and be like, no. You know, he wouldn't really talk to me. And I'm like, what's his deal? And I asked his brother, who was still good with us, you know, he'd come over and still play Minecraft. I'm like, why doesn't he want to talk to me? What happened? He's like, well, when you yelled at him about the diamonds, that kind of scared him and he thinks you hate him now. I felt so bad. I'm like, oh no.
And I'm the bully here, right? I'm the mean one here.
I bullied a kid on Minecraft over diamonds. Like, don't you mind those diamonds with the wooden pickaxe? And I mean, he's fine now. Like, you know, he's like in college now. Like, he just graduated high school and he'll talk to me now. But for the longest time, he was like deathly afraid of me. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I wasn't really mad. I was just trying to like not let you waste those, because we had been looking forever, like as a group. And we were all like super new to it. So, you know, it was like, oh my gosh, diamonds, you know, none of us had ever found those before. So I was like, don't you ruin those. And he was just like, and he like walked home after that.
Super new to the game.
Bad.
Everybody's new, except Amy's got a little extra experience. And knowing that they're new, decides that their experience of learning this game is going to involve getting yelled at because you almost mined diamonds with a wooden pick.
But again, it wasn't really that I was like yelling at him. It was more of like an urgency thing. Like, oh no,
You
no, no.
scared your poor cousin.
I guess it came out kind of bad, but thinking about like mining diamonds with the wrong tool always makes me think of that, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I still feel really bad about it.
It's okay. I got my sister never really gamed too much when we were younger, but when I don't know if either of you ever played Sonic Adventure Battle 2 on like GameCube or anything, but they have like these little Chow creatures.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
basically, yep. So you just raise Chow, and we would breed Chow and stuff, and she would literally just sit there, and we would like game the system. We're like, all right, so because I would look up the stuff online, like you go on the forums, so like, all right, well your Chow evolves in like 2 hours, so we would leave the game running, watch TV for 2 hours in the same room, and then you switch back over to the game and then start like messing with the Chow and like doing it to like breed and stuff. And we were just like hardcore doing that. Like we were trying to be like farmers and stuff. And then we would do the same thing on like Harvest Moon games and stuff like that. It was literally just all that kind of different thing. But that was like the majority of my time wasted as a kid was on GameCube breeding Chow on Sonic Adventure 2, which was hilarious but also bad at the same time.
That's awesome though. So she was like your little helper.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, listen, this is your job.
Well, yeah, because like people post in the forums, they're like, oh, okay, so here's because like for the game, if anybody's to know, there would be like 3 archetypes. So you'd have the neutral, you'd have the hero version, and you'd have the evil version, which would basically be like, so if you had like Shadow instead of Sonic and you pet the Chow and cared for him, they would be more evil oriented. And if you had Sonic, you know, the good guys and stuff like that, they'd be more hero oriented. And people would post in the forums literally all the pictures of all the different types of Chow you could have based on those, based on evolutions after they're like X amount of time old, that kind of thing. So we looked them up and you're like, which one do we want to go for? And we would just like spend the amount of time that day going for that specific type to do it. And then we would like start new game files because you'd run out of room in the world because we wouldn't have enough space to do it. But like now I've got it on PC. So like one of me and my friends would like mess with it and do, because like you could do Game Shark on GameCube, but they have it on Steam where you can use like this like little cheat engine thing that gives you the Game Shark kind of things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So like offline, me and my friends will do it, and you can mod the world so there's no limit for stuff like that. So you can do a lot more cool stuff. Do that. So me and one of my friends literally for 4 hours the other night. He lives in Australia, so it was like it was kind of like early night for him. It was like 8 at night. And it was like 4 in the morning for me, and we just spent 4 hours on Sonic Adventure 2 because it was $2 in the Steam store, just modding Chow to see how broken we could beat the races as fast as possible. So like a 4-minute race would take us 40 seconds, and it was the dumbest thing but the funniest thing at the same time.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. It's such a time suck when you get into it, but you're also like, oh dude, I want to do this. Like you keep wanting to build on top of like what you've already done with them, so it's real fun once you get into it.
Oh yeah, like I really dig stuff like that, and I've never really played like a ton of Sonic games in the past, but the Chow always interests me because I love the, like, you know, we was talking earlier about the Digimon. I like the V-Pets, like the Tamagotchis and the Digimon, stuff like Pokemon and stuff like that. So like the little, like the pets you can raise and train and whatnot, that always interests me a ton.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those were always fun. I never really got into those too much though. Most of my stuff I did were based off of games or like the old Pokemon games or something. Mm-hmm. That was about it. So just play those on Game Boy, or my dad had like one of those really old, tall, like Game Boy Colors, and he had like, you know, you have like the old Tetris cartridges that are like this tall. So I'd have one of those just like walking around playing Tetris for hours while we're driving and stuff to see if I can break like 1 million and 2 million score and stuff like that over and over again.
Hey, Tetris is awesome. Like I love Tetris.
Yeah, exactly.
I used to get really aggravated with Tetris. I tend to go, well, I say really aggravated. It was more so aggravated at myself at being so bad at it. Not the game itself, but just I'm awful at it.
How are you bad at it? Could you just not do like the like switch it last second for your shapes, or would you just like what
it was definitely the last second swap with trying to get the like no. When I was a kid, you know, I tried to force square into the circle shape. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So yeah,
Oh man.
that's
So you
that's
need
my
to
life
get
with Tetris.
you need to get a Switch and play Tetris 99 so we can
Oh yeah, yeah.
battle each other.
Battle each
Yeah.
other. So what I'm thinking, I'm
You
getting
bring it out.
hustled. It's she's like, yes, all right, I got somebody I can beat horribly, horribly beat them at Tetris.
Well, I mean, how many people are in each game? Like, it's actually 99 people in
Yeah.
it to start,
Yeah.
right?
I think
Yeah,
so.
I mean, you have a chance to beat like 97 other people. I mean, it's improbable that you'll be last place every single game, you know, and then you can slowly just improve on that. It's always a way to look at it.
Yeah, you'll be able to beat at least one person. Tetris 99 is pretty fun. I still prefer the original Tetris, you know, like the original Tetris model of the game. But Tetris 99 is pretty cool. I'm pretty good at Tetris, but which I haven't played Tetris 99 a ton, but I'm pretty good. Like I usually make it into like the top 5 whenever I play, unless something like crazy happens and a bunch of people like gang up on me, because that does happen. Because you can choose who you attack, but I kind of like don't pay attention to that. I just try to focus on my own blocks instead of trying to choose who to attack. But it's really cool. Like I was kind of surprised when they came out with that. I was like, this is so weird, but it interests me. And I tried. I was like, this is actually really cool. But then I was like, I'm kind of bored of it after like 10 minutes. Like I want to play something else. I'd rather play normal Tetris by myself.
Yeah, I want to get a Switch. I just haven't invested in it.
Same.
Like, I've ran. So I don't know if you know, you can run Breath of the Wild on PC in a certain way, and you can run it at 4K. And so I've done that, and that's real fun because I have a 4K TV. So I was playing like my 4K TV, Breath of the Wild. But like, I want to actually have it on Switch, so it's not like. And like just other games in general, I want to be able to have the Switch so I could like walk around with it and stuff. Like my sister has one for like Pokemon and Smash and all that. And I've never really got into Smash, but if I got a Switch, I would actually start doing it and try to play people in it. So that'd be real fun. I'm sure Green would be real happy if he got more people on Switch to play Smash with. So
He definitely
Yeah.
would, for sure.
Yeah, I haven't really played a ton of Smash myself. I have yet to get it on the Switch, but the Switch console, I would honestly say is probably my favorite like current gen console. Like I have a PS4, Xbox One, and a Switch, but the Switch is just so cool. The fact that you can dock it and play it on a TV or take it with you is really cool. And then the fact that they're coming out with a Switch Lite in a couple of months. I really, really want the Lite. The only negative about it is you can't really stream with it because it's not going to be dockable. So that way, there's not really a way to share it to a TV. But it is really cool if any of you want to get a Switch at a cheaper price point and you're not worried about streaming it. And it looks like it's going to be a decent amount smaller. It looks like it's going to be probably slightly bigger than like a PS Vita, which to me is like perfect size for a handheld. Because I play my Switch in handheld mode a lot, but I don't know if it's just because my hands are so small or what, but it makes my hands fall asleep because I like to like lay in bed and play with it at night. It like makes my hand like my palms because like the way it's shaped, it kind of sits like right in the middle of your palms and it makes my hands fall asleep. I don't know if it's because my hands are so small or what, but I don't like how because it's got a little bit of weight to it, so I'm really excited about the Switch Lite.
well, do you like lay sideways? Because like I get the same issue just like sitting on my phone if I lay sideways in bed and my arm falls asleep. So
See, it doesn't matter how I lay. Like I can lay like and like like with it out in front of me like this or
okay.
on the side. So it's just like I said. I think it's because it's the way it's shaped. Because the Joy Cons, like I said, they kind of sit like on the middle of your palm right there, and it just like makes my hands fall asleep. So it's kind of uncomfortable for like long time playing. But
Gotcha.
the Switch Lite looks like it'll be a lot better because it won't be as heavy. Because like holding it in your hands for a long period of time, especially like laying down, because it's like the force of it's coming down on your hands different versus like if you're sitting up and you can kind of like hold it down. So it's not putting like the weight of it like down on your hand. it's not so bad. But if you're lazy and you just want to like play some Switch before you fall asleep, like I do, I mean, that's my personal experience with it. And everybody probably doesn't have that issue, but I do. So I'm like, yes, Switch Lite, super stoked.
I feel like that comment was directed towards me. If you're lazy,
what I think would be really cool. I don't know how hard it would be to code on their end, but if they did something with, maybe it's not as high quality, but if you have like decent Wi-Fi, you get like the Switch Lite and you could stream it to your TV. So like, you know how, I don't know if you're familiar, but like an Xbox One, if you're on Windows, you can stream your Xbox gameplay to your computer, play it on your computer monitor. Like if they did something, if they implemented some sort of update to do that to monitors, I feel like that'd be real cool. As long as like you have good enough internet. Like obviously that's contingent, and not a lot of people would be able to do that.
Right.
But that would be like an added option, I would think.
Yeah. The only thing about that is Nintendo is super weird.
Yeah.
About the internet and all kinds of stuff. And you know, speaking of like Nintendo consoles, I have done a decent amount of like Nintendo based streaming with my channel, and I used to do a lot of Pokemon on the DS. And you can get like 3DS capture cards, which are stupid expensive. But there was a way, if you had the new 3DS XL, that you could kind of mod and hack it. And there was a way, kind of like you were talking about, that you could I can't remember the exact name of it, because I used to use this before I got an actual physical capture card, which the capture card for 3DS isn't like an Elgato or an Avermedia. This is like a board that is actually inside the 3DS itself. So you can't just like hook up like an external source to it. Like you have to send your system off or buy one already made, like with the board already put into it. So the like it would only work with the new 3DS XLs because of some sort of newer hardware in the new ones versus the original 3DS, and it would allow you to like over your Wi-Fi like wirelessly send like the video image. It wasn't as high quality as the physical capture card, obviously, and you'd have to, you know, rig up a way like hardwire in for audio if you wanted audio, and like it would kind of lag, like you said, with internet. Even if you had good internet, there would still be some lag issues. So I mean, it just kind of depends on the mod hacking community if they're able to do that with the Switch Lite. I mean, it's possible. I know that there's ways that you can hack the original Switch, so I don't know if they'll figure out a way for you to. I mean, I figure there eventually there probably will be a way to do that. I know Nintendo's trying to find ways to make their systems harder to do that. Like if you look at the original Switch, for instance, the original one, the box is I think mostly white, and then they came out with a new version of the original Switch, which the box is mostly red, and it has like an improved battery life to it. But they also changed some things like hardware wise where it's harder to be able to hack. So they're trying really hard to not let people do stuff like that. But I just wish that they would make it easier for content creators to actually be able to capture video on the device, so people wouldn't have to, you know, make ways to do that. Which for the Switch, it's super easy. Like the original Switch, you can just use your standard capture card. But the Switch Lite, I mean, they did it with the 3DS, so maybe somebody will come out with something like that for the Switch Lite. I mean, that would be cool. I'm not too worried about it myself personally because I have the original Switch, but maybe, I don't know. I don't see Nintendo doing it, but the mod community might possibly come out with something like that.
It's interesting you brought up the modding community, because I don't know if you've seen recently, but there was a guy that's been so like Ninja's bought one, and he like put out like a screenshot of like something he was working on or a picture. This guy's been making, so he takes like old, basically broken GameCubes, right? And he takes the cases for them and puts like a mini computer in it and loads every single GameCube game that's ever been made onto the system to play on your TV, and they all upscale into 4K. And
Oh, neat.
so he's been making those, and I don't remember what his Twitter is. I'd have to figure it out. But he's been doing those, and I guess like he's been getting so many requests for commissions after that because people like Keemstar and Ninja and all them were talking about it, and it was came out that he's making them for him. That he's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make a tutorial soon for people on how to do it and do that. So that's, I feel like that'll be interesting for some people that want to do like retro gaming in the future, because I feel like that'll be a nice way to be like, yeah, I want to stream this GameCube game and it'll be higher quality and I don't have to buy an adapter and hope I can get like a decent working GameCube and GameCube game at the same time. So I think that would be pretty cool, but obviously it's not really official Nintendo stuff, so I don't know if they'll crack down on that too much or not. So we'll kind of have to see for that, really. But I just thought that was cool that somebody's been working on that, at least for like leisure stuff.
Yeah, stuff like that is kind of cool, and something kind of similar to that is I know people who will get like Raspberry Pis and make like just super emulator systems. So that's like a pretty affordable way to do that. Now, for like upscaling stuff, you'd probably have to look into more for that. But Raspberry Pis, and you can like get 3D printed cases to make them look like a tiny GameCube or tiny whatever system you want. I know some people who have Raspberry Pis who have like crazy amounts of emulators on them, and you can even make those into like a handheld emulator to play whatever you want, like get a screen, and if you're good with like soldering stuff and put the buttons and everything together, there's some really cool stuff out there.
Yeah, for sure.
That kind of stuff's always interested me, but it's something I've never looked into too much.
I just have been interested in it for a while because like back in middle school I had a lot of me and my friends that played like PSPs, and those
I remember those days.
Simple, yeah, and it was very simple to put custom firmware on it. So that's what they were called, custom firmware. And all you would do, so like they made it even easier as time went on. Like the PSP Go, like obviously, I don't know if you guys know that, but it's the one that slid up, has like the internal memory and everything. That one was real easy. Literally, all you did was plug it into your computer, download something onto your memory, and you could run custom firmware. That was it. Like Sony didn't. I don't know if they just didn't care, but they never did updates to take it off, so they probably didn't. But you could get like Call of Duty Zombies, like Call of Duty World at War Zombies on your PSP and play games like that. Like people would make fan-made games like that, or like port games over from other stuff, and that was really fun, and I did a lot of that. So I've always been interested in stuff like that ever since doing things alongside those kind of things.
Oh yeah, and like Sony doesn't, I mean, every company is going to be really weird about trying to tamper with the original device, but Sony isn't near as bad about it as Nintendo. Nintendo is like super weird about so many things when it comes to stuff like that, and there's like ways to spoof Pokemon. There's ways for people
Pokemon
to
Go.
Well, I mean, like the DS games, and
really?
and so you have to be really careful, because if you somehow get one of those like through like Wonder Trading or something, I've heard stories where people, they'll like blacklist like your DS system if they catch you using stuff like that like online. So it's just, they're a lot stricter about stuff like that than Sony.
That makes me think about what was it? It was, if you like, there was like a big thing going on, like a lot of developers, I don't know how many developers do it now, but there was a lot of like old games. You can look them up and there's YouTube videos on them. But developers implemented stuff for like if people were to pirate games and make pirated versions of games, and you were to download and play it, they would make it so it was either unplayable for you because like a boss in the game would become unbeatable or would troll you.
Oh yeah.
Or they would code in messages in the game and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. So essentially it would be like, like the whole Herobrine thing for Minecraft, but it was like a real thing people would code into games to screw with people that would pirate games to try to deter people doing it, which is pretty funny. Because like I think that's like a fun way to do it. Because like people are going to do that, and if you just do things like that, it's going to make it real hard for people to even enjoy doing it.
Oh yeah.
And some of them even make it fun. Like there's like Easter eggs they'll put into like stuff like saying hi, like we know you're playing on a bad version of the software. Like we know. Like they'll do that just to screw with you, that kind of thing in the coding, which is pretty funny. So it's like fun seeing just like how developers handle that kind of thing as it goes on.
Yeah, like I can't remember what game it was, but I remember reading a few years ago about one game that did that, where it would give you like some sort of like text from some enemy or something, where it calls you like cheap because you didn't buy the game or something like that. And I was like, that's pretty funny. It's like, go buy the game and stop being cheap or something like that. I was like, yeah, that's pretty good.
That's great.
Yeah.
It's always fun seeing developers do fun things like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if I was like heavy into coding, I'd be real into just doing like troll stuff like that, because I think that's just funny. Plus, like if somebody came out and was like pirating a game and they put that in the code, you'd have a lot more publicity on your game too. Like it's almost free advertisement because people are going to talk about it too, that kind of thing. If you've got that kind of thing in, versus like if you do nothing, then I mean people are just going to have your game for free, that kind of thing. So. I mean, it's just like a really good way to handle the situation, I think, and go down on it. You know, like keep the whole situation like dying down with if a lot of people keep doing it, that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, you know, it's funny that you mentioned something like that. So with the Isle, they don't really have. I don't know if they have anybody that tries to get free copies of the game like that. But one of the developers, he's semi new to their team. We got on, and when he was going into the coding, he talked to their guys, and he had them put together an animation for the lightning strike. So when they catch players not just breaking the rules, they'll do that for some of the people breaking the rules, but they've been working hard on cracking down on anybody trying to hack the game, speed hacks, etc. It just drops a lightning bolt on top of your dino's head, and you just fall over dead. Everybody nearby hears it. You see the flash, and it's like everybody will even some people even come running. Like it's happened on they'll also use it to like mess with streamers and things. They've done it to me and some others. Struck us with a lightning bolt, and like people love seeing that. So it's exactly like what you said. It's basically free advertisement. Like when somebody sees something funny like that, because that's what it is. If you find out that somebody goes and they pirated this game, it's like, hey, we know you did this, and everybody starts talking about it. It's like, bam, everybody's suddenly interested.
Yeah, that specific scenario is funny because it's like you're actually just getting smited by the gaming gods for being a bad person. It's like what they're doing.
Oh,
it's
it's
like the best comparison you make to that.
It's great, man. It's great. One of the developers loves it to help some of the streamers out with stream snipers. He loves catching them, and he'll sit there and he just waits for a moment, lets them get real close, think that they're about to kill whoever it is they're going after, and then, bam, lightning bolt dropped on their face on stream. It's great.
Yeah, I think it's real fun with I don't know if you've ever seen it. There's certain games that developers will give to like bigger streamers too. Like I don't remember the game. It's like that. Have you guys ever seen the game where you're jumping from one truck to another? It's like a whole bunch of semis, and you gotta
I
jump
think I
to
saw
each
that.
truck and do that. Yeah.
Cluster truck.
That's probably that might be what it is. I know Soda Poppin' was playing, and a developer came in and they started doing messages in chat to him while he was playing live. Like they would do it on their end, like through their servers, and do it. And they're like, "Oh, you ready for this?" And he was like, "What?" And it'll just like make it go super fast, so you can't see what's going on and just screw with them. And I think stuff like that's great. Like when developers just get like a good relationship with people going on and just mess with them, because it makes like good content for stuff like that too. So.
Oh yeah,
it's
for
not
sure.
too bad overall.
That is funny.
She doesn't know it yet, but whenever she does play the Isle, I'm gonna arrange for a lightning bolt to be dropped on her head.
Oh really?
Oh yeah, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Thanks, you're so sweet.
I'm really sore. I've like I said, I went to the gym for the first time in a week yesterday, and I went real hard on the chest. So
You're better than me. I don't work out. I'm lazy, man.
I was about
I
to say, I'm just exhausted from hearing about somebody going to the gym. So.
I know, right?
See, I use like pre-workout and stuff, and I get like wired going to the gym, and I enjoy doing it. I usually go for like 2 hours, and then mine has like the hot tub and saunas and steam rooms and stuff. So after I get done working out for like an hour, hour and a half, I'll go sit in like the steam room and then go chill in the hot tub for like 30 minutes. You can kind of just like chill out, listen to music, and relax. So it's not too bad. I like it. It's more like therapeutic than anything for me, especially like when you're seeing progress as weeks go on. That's something I like doing in my free time. It's one of those things where it's like that whole mentality. Like, I don't know if you ever heard, there's like a psychology rule. Like, if you do something for like 21 days straight or something like that, it just becomes kind of second nature and you don't really think about doing it. But like,
Yeah.
it's real hard to fall off doing stuff like that. So it's something you got to be really conscious of staying on top, or you can get falling off real fast.
And I broke the alerts because it's not working. Thank you for that
Oh,
raid.
snap. Coming in for that juicy raid of 4.
Why did...
Rip alert.
Yeah, rip alert. Rip alert.
Yeah, just like Trevor was saying, you got to make like a lot of stuff a lifestyle. It's like streaming. Like, you know, I feel like a lot of people underestimate, like, it's real easy to do it every single day, but once you get into a stretch of not streaming for 2 to 3 days, then it's real hard to get back into it. And then you get that anxiety built up. You're like, oh man, like, I don't know if I should go live today, that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, I totally understand. That's something I struggle with like a ton. So I get you. But honestly, if I had a gym like yours around here, I would get a gym membership just to go chill in the hot tub and the sauna. Who cares about working out?
If it makes you feel better, they also have hydro massage beds and tanning booth sections that you are all included in your membership.
Oh snap!
So.
See, but you lost me at tanning because I'm about as wide as they come, and with this red hair of mine, I burn super easy. So I walk outside, and 10-15 minutes later, I'm like the color of a lobster. I'm like, yeah, that was a bad idea. So I can't tan; I just burn.
That's how I am. Senior year of high school, actually, we had this thing called senior split, which is where like all the seniors, like, this is like 2 or 3 days before graduation, you don't go to classes. They just let you screw around outside for 8 hours and mess around like water guns and outside activities and stuff. And I had a tank top, but I had 3 layers of sunblock on throughout the day, and I still got 3rd-degree sunburn around like my tank top straps. So I definitely feel you on that.
Oh geez.
Yeah.
I was in the marching band, so band camp. Oh haha, I know the jokes are waiting for somebody to say it in chat. This one time at band camp. Ha ha ha. But like I would bathe myself in sunblock and I would still get burnt. Like I remember I think it was our 1st or 2nd year. I got burnt on my neck so bad that it looked like somebody had cut me on my neck because it got burnt and then like turned into like oh my gosh, brain fart.
Like blisters?
Blisters, yes, that's the word. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But those like exploded and it just looked like deep gashes on my neck. So it was like,
wow.
Yeah, me and the sun don't get along.
Yeah, I don't tan, and because I got 3rd-degree sunburn, I now have a permanent slight tan around where my tank top straps were. So it's just like the tops of my shoulders, and then like partially up my neck, and then you see like pale white stripes through that. It's kind of jacked. So like if I'm not wearing a shirt, it just looks kind of awkward if you're like up close, and like I've been like just chilling, and I'm just normal. Like if I'm not red or anything from working out or something. So.
Well, for both of you guys that burn, I'm sorry, but I tan way too easily. Like I'll burn and next day it turns into a tan. So it was funny, like you mentioned back in like high school, I was that guy that the girls would walk over to and they would compare their time at the tanning salon to me standing outside for a while. And I'm being dead serious. There were probably like 3 or 4 different girls that their goal was to try to beat me and not a single one ever did.
I had girls that I would just have girls that would do that with the underside of their arm, with the top of my forearm. So just to see how much darker they are with the white part of their arm. So
I thought that you were gonna say that in high school, when you're saying that girls would come over to you and compare their tans, I thought you were gonna say had girls that would come over to me and just be all over me because of my tan. Like, okay,
No,
right.
no, that didn't happen. They literally would walk up and hold their. I would be sitting there talking to somebody, like they would just walk up and out of nowhere, hold their arm up next to mine, and then like walk away. I'd be like, okay. I mean, eventually I figured out what was going on, but it was like, what?
See, I don't mind being pale because I have a lot of tattoos, and especially like this one on my arm, it's like a really bright blue, and you can't like because I've been to like 3 different artists at this point, and they all say like, yeah, if you want to get like bright and colorful tattoos, you want to be as pale as possible, because otherwise they don't like show up. Like if you have darker skin, you can only use like reds and stuff like that, otherwise the colors won't show up that well. And even like white ink, like you know how some people have like white tattoos where they use white ink and it's like barely there, but it looks like a scar. You can't even use that if you're not like super pale, because it's almost pointless. Like you won't see it. So like I don't mind that, just because I have like 7 tattoos all around my body, including like on my legs and like chest and stuff. And so I don't mind it because, you know, it allows like colors to pop, and I'm kind of just like, all right, cool, whatever. I'll just make the best of it at this point. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like you've paid for all this ink, you want people to look at it.
Exactly.
Just stay inside forever and never go outside. Sounds like my kind of life.
Wow.
I literally don't go outside enough that I take a vitamin D tablet every single day, so I'm getting enough vitamin D. So
Oh, wow.
if that tells you anything, yeah.
I should probably do the same thing, but I like to live dangerously. So
Is that living dangerously, or is that the procrastination? Being like, oh, I'll be fine. I'll take one tomorrow. It'll be okay.
yeah, a little of this, a little of that. Maybe a little both.
No, I don't know. I just don't like a lot of bright things. Like I have blackout curtains and stuff in my room, so like I can just sleep till whenever, and then don't have to worry about like outside light coming in, if that makes sense. So that's, yeah.
I feel so bad because we're getting these awesome raids and the alerts won't work, and I don't know why. Like, why won't it work? It's there. I added it. It should be working.
Okay,
I guess it's my fault because I truth be told, I just assumed that it, you know, putting it on there, I'm like, yeah, this is gonna work. It'll be fine. No problem at all. I didn't test any of it. Didn't test it.
It's
So
okay.
Yeah, it's all good.
We forgive you this time, but next time, you better have your crap together, boy. Okay. Sassy.
Sassy. Yeah.
Sassy snaps.
Hey, look,
there,
I make no promises.
Is there anything you guys like really want to buy, like whether streaming related or not right now, that like you want to save money for, whether that be like art or like something you just want to have to use or anything right now?
Food. Always food.
Why did she have to beat me to it?
Just food. You know, some people eat to live, but I'm definitely one of those people who live to eat.
See, I really want to get like a DSLR camera, like not even just for like streaming stuff, but just to like take like nice videos, because out here in Colorado there's a lot of cool like hiking places you can go, and you can't really take good pictures to take depths of like some of the canyons and stuff, so it'd be real cool to get like a DSLR camera for some of that stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I like when, you know, you really want to get something that has like a multi-use. You know, I know a lot of streamers who want to upgrade to the DSLR, but, you know, it's such an expensive, in my opinion, investment if you're only going to use it for your stream setup. I feel like if you want something like that, you should probably use it for other things as well to truly get, like, your money's worth. for it, and so that's really cool. That definitely makes sense.
Yeah, I like going around and hiking and stuff a lot. I've been trying to do that a lot more. I just don't have a lot of like one of my really good longtime friends, the one I was telling you about, whose brother, like, they wouldn't let him mosh because he had a sling on. He came out recently and we went out to a canyon that's like literally all of the lookout points is just like straight drops. Like there's almost no barriers or anything. You just walk right up to the edge and just look out, and it's really cool to go to a lot of those lookout points. So I just want to do a lot more stuff to try to go around and do that more. I feel like some cameras and stuff would be real nice for those.
Oh yeah, for
That
sure.
was something like I thought about, and I haven't really made like the commitment to purchase something like that. And it was same idea as you. It was like not just for like streaming. It'd be cool to have one for the various other things. I actually bought my dad a camera like that for, what was it? I think my brother and I got it for him for Christmas. And he takes all kinds of pictures of like the wildlife, out where he lives. He's got some nice property out in the country. So he has actual use for it. Me,
Mm-hmm.
I other than it's like, hey, I want to try to like make my camera look a little bit better. I don't have a whole lot of use for it. So it's like, I haven't really decided whether or not I'll ever invest in something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those like it's one of those things where you just really have to kind of weigh it against like, what am I going to use it for if I'm spending this much money? Because like from what I know, any of like the really good DSLR cameras are anywhere from like $700 to $1,000 at minimum, and then you have to have like potential adapters and stuff to run it for streaming stuff too, if you want to go that route and add it to that stuff. So just like that whole aspect is just like a money sink if you're not going to use it for a lot. So it's a lot to kind of like think about. But at the same time, I'm like, well, you know, I want to travel a lot anyway. So at some point, I feel like I really want to do it just to do it. And that'll entice me to actually go travel more and everything. It's kind of like paying for like a $50 gym membership. Not that I pay that much, but like it's like paying for a $50 gym membership and then not going. Like most people who do that are going to go to the gym and that kind of thing. So I feel like if I just did it, I would be more likely to use it and want to go out and do things, which would be nice.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean that definitely makes sense.
I think I'd go with
Totally agree.
I think I would go with what my dad said and buy half a cow instead. All the ribeye and everything else that I could want off of that. So we're going back to food, so in case anybody missed
Or,
that.
You know, you could buy a whole cow and use it as a dairy cow, and then you could use those to make cheese sticks. You can make cheese.
Oh
make cheese
yeah,
sticks.
that's a great idea actually.
I
That's
got
like
you.
like if you guys like Taco Bell, have you heard about the ones that they have? Like there's, I don't know where else they have it, but they have one in Vegas that sells alcohol. Like you could buy margaritas at a Taco Bell in one of them in Vegas. I don't know where else they have that, but I feel like that'd be real interesting if other places started doing that around the country more.
asking if I like Taco Bell is like asking I don't know, is grass green. You know, like, ooh, I love me some Taco Bell. I have actually heard about that crazy cool one in Vegas. I used to know some people who live there and was like, oh man, it's so cool. I go there all the time. I'm like, why don't you just rub it in? Like,
Yeah.
raining on my parade here. It's one of my life goals. It's just to go to that crazy fancy Taco Bell.
Yeah.
All the
just
alcoholics are
imagine-
coming out in chat right now. Like,
No, but like just imagine you go into like Taco Bell, you get like a nice chalupa box or like a crunch wrap, and you're just having like a few margs for brunch. Like that's your brunch. You just go to Taco Bell and have margaritas and some crunch wraps. Instead of having like mimosas at some fancy place. I feel like that'd be way better.
When you can pinkies up at Taco Bell.
Exactly. There you go.
wait, you mean you don't already do that?
Yeah, they serve it to you.
I mean, I do, you know. I pinkies up at Taco Bell, but
You gotta
have-
be sophisticated.
you could wear like a tuxedo shirt at that Taco Bell, you know.
Oh man. No, I think that should be normalized though. I don't like imagine if fast food places served alcohol, but like it was only like you were only allowed to do it if you were eating in, obviously.
Right.
Like how every places were. That'd be kind of cool, and I feel like a lot of places make business. I don't know if I'd want to go to McDonald's at the same time and get alcohol, but like somewhere like Taco Bell or you know even like maybe a Wendy's, that wouldn't be too bad. Yeah, you have like some new spicy nuggets and just get like a vodka cranberry or something. That'd be real nice.
Yeah, I think McDonald's is one of those places that probably should not. Because when you
Yeah.
go to McDonald's, that's like the equivalent of people at Walmart.com level of people. And I don't think they need any help with anything they ever do. And I think alcohol would just magnify how they already are.
Yeah,
we don't need more of that.
Don't worry, the all the containers they use to store the alcohol are just gonna say it's broke. We don't have any alcohol right now.
Yeah, it's like their ice cream machines.
Exactly.
You know, oddly enough, when I go to McDonald's, that doesn't happen nearly enough as when everybody says that does.
Really?
It's been like once out of like maybe 6 times I've asked for a McFlurry that they said, "Oh, our machine's not working."
That's true. I've never really had that issue, which I don't really go to McDonald's a ton because, you know, I can eat Taco Bell all day, every day, and I'm completely fine. But the moment I eat anything from McDonald's, my stomach just turns itself inside out and tries to kill me. So I try to avoid McDonald's because, oh my gosh, that makes me the sickest of anything I've ever ate. It's like I get food poisoning every time I eat anything from McDonald's. So I'm kind of scared of McDonald's now. Like, it's happened to me the last probably 3 or 4 times that I've tried to eat any sort of food from there. Like, their ice cream is okay. And sometimes I'm one of those people who I like to go through and get their, like, you know, it's $1 for any size drink. So go through the drive-thru and get you, like, you know, the huge drink for $1, and then you go to Burger King and you get your food. You know, it's like it's just $1 though.
Hey,
Yeah.
it's hard to beat
No.
that, you know.
So yeah,
No,
it's
exactly.
$1. It's $1 for a giant drink. That's something that like you don't realize like when you're younger. You know, like when your parents and stuff pay for your food, but as you get older and you go out to eat, when you get like a soda or something and you look at the ticket, you're like, oh my gosh, they charged me like $3 or $4 for this drink. You know, it's kind of insane how much they charge for drinks like in sit down restaurants, which I know you get like refills and stuff, but you're like, you look at your ticket, you're like, man, why is this so expensive? It's like, oh yeah, my soda is like $5.
Or even go to McDonald's and getting the type of stuff that's like you would normally get with your parents, and it's like $8 to $10 just for your meal.
Yeah.
Like, and normal, and you're like, I don't know how they spent $20 to $30 every time the whole family went out to eat. I would not have been doing that.
Yeah, I saw this meme like a while back where it was like, you know, as you get older, you do realize, yes, we do have food at home. Like when you want to go eat out, you're like, yes, we do have food at home because you know you always ask your parents like, oh, I really want a Happy Meal or whatever, and they're like, we have food at home. But when you get older, you start to agree, like, yes, we do have food at home.
Yeah, exactly.
Except,
yeah, no, wait, go ahead.
no, you're fine. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
No, you go. I've been talking a lot.
I was gonna say, except I cave, and you know, if anybody was ever like, you know, how did I spend $20 on that? That's a normal thing for me. It's like that's why I don't eat out. It's because I spend too much and eat, and then I end up eating too much.
Yeah, I mean that's reasonable. The main thing for me is I'm just really lazy in cooking. Like I'm back at my parents' house now for the last year of college to save money because I couldn't work as much. But when I was living at my college house for like 2 years, I wouldn't even like really cook anything. The way I would do stuff is I would get like chicken breast during the week, and I had a panini press, and I would grill that on the panini press. And that I would do that every single day. I would just grill something on the panini press or make eggs, and that would be my meal if I didn't eat out. And I just didn't go out of my way to make anything extra. I was like, nope, I'm not going to spend 20 minutes making food when it'll take me 5 minutes doing this. I was like, so I'm either going to drive 5 minutes up the road to McDonald's or like just grill this on this panini press right now, and that's it. And like I couldn't imagine spending like an hour or two just making food and just doing it. That's not what I want to do.
I can kind of relate. A few years ago, this kind of goes back to my insane love for Taco Bell. One of my aunts actually got me like a quesadilla maker for Christmas, so it's kind of
I'm
like the same
jealous.
idea, like a panini press, and I'll make stuff like that. Like I'll get tortillas and get like all kinds of different cheeses, and sometimes I throw in like sandwich meat, like ham or turkey or whatever, and just make me like this very ghetto quesadilla ham melt thing, and I'll eat those.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I understand the struggle. Yeah, make yourself a dang quesadilla. I do.
You know, it's actually good. You know, like a good thing to do when you're broke is you get a pack of ramen noodles, right, and then you fry an egg and you put your egg on top of your ramen noodles and then eat that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that works really good, and it's not just as like the crappy like 50-cent noodles that are not good for you in the first place. So it's not too bad overall.
Just
but
pure sodium.
yeah, so it's not bad. I don't know, if you think about the amount of stuff that people eat for that, it's actually really bad for the amount of stuff we eat as like humans. It's kind of jacked. Like the amount of stuff that we just put in our bodies from stuff like that, it just makes you think like, ooh, like, that's not, you know, just the way, like, yeah, have you ever seen like those demonstration videos where they're like, this is what a pound of fat looks like?
Yes,
And they show you like the bag, it just looks awful. You're like, oh dude, it is not good.
Oh yeah, and I've been very fortunate that I've never had to work fast food, and I really don't want to because I know it would ruin so many fast food places for me, which I've actually gotten a lot better. Like I got really bad about fast food for a while there, and because you can get like straight up addicted to it. And
Oh yeah.
like I got really bad about it, but now I'm pretty good. Like you'll get to the point where you kind of crave it. You're like, oh man, I'm really gotta have that hamburger, which I've been eating a lot better lately. But yeah, I've never wanted to work at like Taco Bell because it's like I'll see how all this stuff is made, and I'll see all like the deep dark behind the scenes secrets, and I was like, no, don't ruin Taco Bell for me. I love it too much. I don't want to I don't want to see all the nasty behind it. But yeah, kind of like you were saying, like this is what a pound of fat looks like. It makes you not want to eat stuff like that, but then it's like I'm just gonna forget about it and go back to my old ways, and everything will be fine.
Yeah.
You've seen those videos, right, of like what people showing the like this is what Coke can do to different things, right?
Yes, where it
Okay.
like eats rust off of everything.
So I've had a couple different people that are like, this is why you should stop drinking Coke. I was like, hey, if it made it look that good, just imagine what it's doing for my stomach.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I don't know. I used to be super addicted to fast food stuff. Like I would eat like 2 to 3 meals a day of fast food, and that would be for like weeks at a time. And it would be real bad. Like just think about like you go to McDonald's in the morning and then for dinner you're having Taco Bell, and you do that almost every single day, and that's what I was doing essentially. It was not good. I was like this like I didn't even feel good. Like now that I'm eating like healthier, like I feel like I can do a lot more and I have more energy. And it like if you notice like a lot of that stuff when you stop eating that, you don't get as hungry during the day when you drop that stuff. But then like you realize when you eat a lot of that stuff, you're also getting a lot hungrier during the day, which sucks.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a lot of more stuff than just like what it does to your body. It just makes you crave a lot more garbage that you don't need to eat at the same time, which sucks.
I was trying to figure out a way to keep that conversation going, but I was like,
I saw you thinking like you were gonna say something. That's
I was like, and then nothing. Actually, you know what? So since we're on the topic of fast food, so here, and it's probably like everywhere. Okay, so like Burger King here is awful, especially like in my town. Burger Kings are awful here. I was talking to my grandparents, and my grandmother was talking about how she loves Burger King hamburgers, and but they don't go there anymore. And I'm like, when was the last time you had one? She's like, oh, 20 years ago. I was like, yeah, you might not want to have another one. You might want to just remember the good times that you had eating a Burger King hamburger versus eating one now.
Yeah. You know, that's why my dad loves Burger King, and I don't like it that much. Like, don't get me wrong, the way they grill their meat is a little bit better, and it tastes a little bit better, but like the rest of the food is just like, it's not that good at all. It just tastes cheap. Like, don't get me wrong, McDonald's like has some, like, their stuff is cheap, but it tastes good, and Burger King, like, you can generally taste like, yeah, this tastes about $2. Like, you can get the difference going when you look at it and compare them both.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I actually haven't. Hardee's. I actually enjoy. I kind of enjoy Hardee's, to be honest. They're still pretty good.
Unpopular opinion, I love Arby's. Like, a lot of people,
I love Arby's.
like, you always see these viral tweets about people like being like, how is Arby's in business? Nobody goes to Arby's. And it's like, dude, Arby's is fantastic. Like, anybody that says they don't like Arby's has obviously never had a beef and cheddar melt.
Beef and Chad.
That's all
That's
you
kind
need.
of funny thing is, it's kind of like a meme, like in my channel. So there's a bunch of I have some like commands that'll make like GIFs or images pop up on screen, and I have like 3 or 4 dedicated to beef and chads. So
yeah, those are real good, especially because you can get them as like, you can get singles, doubles, and like triple stacked beef and cheddars. So like, if you need them more and you're like, oh, I need to go all the way today, you can get like 2 triple stacked beef and cheddars, and you're solid for the like at least half the day. And it's not that bad. Like protein wise, they have a lot of protein in their roast beef, which is nice. So it's not like complete garbage compared to like a McDonald's sandwich either. Like, I would argue a lot of Arby's stuff is a lot healthier than a lot of places too. So
yeah, it's one of the higher tier fast food places in my opinion.
yeah,
I enjoy Arby's, that's for sure.
I think I see people like associate it with like country people a lot, and it's like, I don't know. I don't see that. Like, I see people all the time in and out of the drive-thru. I don't know where people live that they don't see people going to Arby's, but I literally have to wait for like 15 minutes sometimes just to get a beef and cheddar, and it sucks because I'm like, I just want to get in and out.
The place that's always like stupid busy, like in my area, that you have to wait like 10-15 minutes to like order anything, is Chick-fil-A. People in the South go insane for Chick-fil-A.
Oh yeah.
Like, they love the Lord's chicken.
I used to live in North Carolina, and people do that with like Zaxby's, where I used to live a lot.
Zaxby's, oh, that is the true Lord's chicken.
Yeah, we don't have that out here in Colorado, which is sad. We have something comparable called Cane's, but the sauce tastes like a cheap knockoff, and the chicken's nowhere near as good. So it's just like somebody tried to copy it and did like a really bad job. And so anytime I go back to like North Carolina or something, I just load up. I spend like $20 on one meal at Zaxby's.
Oh yeah, I love Zaxby's, and like the Zax sauce, I could almost drink that stuff. It is so good, and their fries though, like the seasoned fries. Oh,
and then also Cookout. Do you have Cookout?
I actually, no, we don't have them down here, but I got to try it when I went up for playthrough. So.
Okay, Cookout's really good. They have a lot of nice milkshakes and stuff too. You can get. So.
Yeah, and like when I tried it when I was up there, like they're really reasonably priced too.
Yeah, they're not bad at all. You
can get like a ton of stuff for like super cheap.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing with like Colorado is like, I mean, you have like your normal fast food chains, but a lot of the places aren't like super crazy like that. Like they don't even really have like a decent chili dog place or anything around here. Not even like a local place, which sucks. But they have places that do like, they'll do like bison brats and stuff like that, or gator brats. Like they'll take gator meat and make it into bratwurst, but they won't have chili dog places. It's really weird. I don't know why, but you know.
Do you not have like a Sonic? I like Sonic's chili dogs. Okay.
Yeah, Sonic's okay. I mean, like, I don't know if they have Wienerworks by you, but Wienerworks is good.
No.
I don't.
Yeah, stuff is good.
Nope.
Yeah, so North Carolina, they would have this thing called Wienerworks, and you could get like certain days you could get 25-cent chili dogs with like
wow.
onions and stuff on them, like fully loaded. So me and my family, when I was younger there, like 11, 12, we would go and just buy like 20 and just eat them throughout the day.
I go to the Sonic here, not so much for the food, but just for the slushies. So that's why I go to Sonic.
Yeah.
I was about to say, are you one of those kids who goes and hangs out at Sonic? Because like around here, I mean, obviously, most of you can probably tell I'm from the South. Down here in Alabama, it's this thing, which I don't know if you guys have this problem or not, but there will be kids who just sit around in their big, like, lifted trucks, and they either hang out in the Walmart parking lot or at Sonic.
It's
they
funny.
Just, they just
It's
sit
funny
there, and
that
I'm
you
like,
say
what
that.
Are you
Because across the street, so our town's like a little weird. Across the street, we have from the Sonic. There's a Rural King and this other small stuff. So Rural King's just like a Tractor Supply place. And for anybody that doesn't know, and in that parking lot, there is a group of people that will meet up. Some of them with lifted trucks, others with cars that sound like they're backfiring more than anything else. And it's just like, what are you doing? Like, they got kicked out of the Walmart parking lot, so they go over there instead. And but yeah, it's like, but it's right across the street from Sonic.
like
Yeah,
the kids with the lifted trucks or their V6 Mustangs with the Flowmasters?
No, ours, the high schools around here, they'll have a lot of kids go to Sonic. Like, you'll see them after school, there'll be like 30 kids just sitting at the tables. And like, there's so many of them, they can't even sit down. It's like, why are you just not in your car, grabbing it and going somewhere else? You're all standing around on the pavement waiting for other people to order for 30 minutes when you could have been got it and gone somewhere else. And then, the most issue we have for like lifted trucks here are people that come from Wyoming, and it's always the people from Wyoming that have like trucks that are way too big, that are borderline like monster trucks, and then they're going like 80 like downtown Denver when it's supposed to be 40, and it's like, dude, you're not on the country road of Wyoming right now, you're downtown. And I don't know how, and none of those people ever get pulled over, because it's always the huge trucks that are always speeding double the speed limit, and they don't ever get pulled over.
So you guys are gonna, Amy's probably going to make fun of me for the rest of the time. She knows me for this, but look, so this isn't about the Mustangs though, okay? I owned a 04 Ranger that was a V6 5-speed. Okay, it was a little V6 5-speed. I put a glass pack on it just to be.
Okay, I'm gonna make fun of you a little bit.
And it was not for like, it was literally just to be silly. I just had the extra cash, and I'm like, I'm gonna put a glass pack on this Ranger.
Oh man, no. You get extra cool points for it being a manual though.
Hey, you gotta have a manual. Hey, that's the only way to drive.
I don't know.
I mean, that's my opinion, but you know.
The funniest thing I've ever seen anywhere for schools, because no matter what state you live in or what city you're in, it always happens. You have that group of kids that shows up to school, and they're all decked out in full camo like they're about to go duck hunting. And it's like, why are you dressed in school trying to be as unseen as John Cena? Like, that's what they're trying to do. They like, you're fully decked out. You've got like combat boots on, and you've got full hunting camo with the hat and everything included. Why? Like, and it's not even like one person's doing it. It's always coordinated where there's a group of 5 or 6 of them all wearing the same thing.
That I would say that sometimes, but it was more so, it was like a daily thing, and their outfit, their uniform would be old, dirty, like blue jeans with a ring in the pocket where their skull can was, and they would wear like these old like boots, like Hellboy boots, and it was like they would tuck half of the bottom of the pants in the boots, and the other half were just kind of there. And it was like the goofiest. I'm like, why don't you just tuck all of your pants in the boots, or you put the pants over the boot? Why do you only tuck half of the pants in the top of the boot? And it was just, it was so weird. I was just like, what why do you think this looks good? And of course, like the little, oh, I'm a Southern belle. It's like, oh, look, so and so hot. I'm like, they dress like they're homeless. Like what?
Oh, she's vicious, chat. She's vicious.
So if any of you guys
Oh man.
wear cowboy boots and only tuck in half the pants in the boots, get better fashion sense, okay? I'm sorry. That's just not very practical, okay? Doesn't make sense.
Hey, Mimon, thanks for that raid.
Oh, snap.
To fill everybody in, I'm the one that's we're hosting the show on my computer this time, and I broke the alerts.
It's
So,
okay.
The epic bacon raid that you tossed to us is very much appreciated. But there's unfortunately no alert.
So just pretend, like, make a bloop, 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 bloop. That's the new alert noise now. Came up with that on the spot.
No, that reminds me of people dressing poorly in school. I remember when I was in middle school, the big fashion thing was you could buy like these pre-made jeans from like Hot Topic and places, and they look like somebody took a bucket of paint and splattered it all over the pants. And it was like, why are you buying that, and what would possess you to wear that? It doesn't even look remotely enjoyable. Like, it would literally look like somebody was painting a house before school and they got it all over their jeans because they dropped the bucket off a ladder and they just showed up to school like that. That's what the jeans would look like. And I don't understand why that was a fashion thing when I was in middle school, like, at all.
I remember that now. I will admit I was totally that Hot Topic kid, but I have to say that I never wore the paint splatter pants. I know exactly what you're talking about though, because I did see those, and my mindset was, but why though?
Yeah.
But why though?
Yeah, it's the whole thing with like celebrities selling like Kanye West clothes specifically.
Oh no,
like,
yes.
Yeah, it's just like sweaters with like holes ripped into them and they look like really distressed and they're like $1,000 and it's like, why? Like, you could literally go to Walmart, get the same looking thing and do it yourself for $6.
Yep.
It doesn't make any sense at all to me.
Yeah, I don't understand it. It's like, I could do that. I'll just go buy a bunch of clothes from the thrift store and just add a few more holes into them, and you can buy this from me for $1,000.
Yeah, just pour some bleach on them outside, you'll get the same effect.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh man, yeah, no, like literally 10 years ago for middle school, that was pretty awful the way people dressed. I don't understand. It's like I'm not bashing Hot Topic kids because I was the same way. I would go there and buy like band shirts and get like the skinny jeans that were like checkered or like neon and stuff. But like, I also didn't buy ones that looked like somebody destroyed them before they sold them. So
yeah, I was all about the band tees and the skinny jeans. But yeah, it's like, I want to buy a shirt. I don't want to buy rags. So yeah, I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Why was that a trend? Because I can really remember that for the longest time being like that. Like, I don't or what was our generation thinking back?
I don't know.
Why?
We need to make a comeback with Crocs.
Wait, that's already making a comeback. What do you mean?
Is it?
I've seen so many people wearing Crocs. Yeah, at least I've seen so many people wearing Crocs.
I would wear Crocs.
I'm behind with the times. Okay, I can't keep up with all the hip and happening stuff. I feel like I'm not old, but I feel like I'm too old for half the internet trends. Like, by the time I hear about like a meme, I'm like, I don't even understand that. Is that what it means to be truly getting old, when you can't understand the lingo of people on the internet? Like, what does this even mean?
Yeah. No, there's even just like, I'll see trending on Twitter, like somebody's using some sort of like new phrase or word, and it's like, you ever seen that episode of Zoe 101? I don't know if you guys ever watched that, but like when Michael tried to make the word drippin' start trending, and everybody's like, "You're an idiot! Like, why are you trying to do this?" And then other people latched onto it at the end of the episode, and they were like, "No, you didn't start this." That's the exact thing I think when I see stuff like that. It's like, why are these trends? Or like you know the general like Twitter templates, like the I think it's called like Scopu Tumanas or something like that. Like that whole thing where everybody's doing that, and it's literally like a foreign language just saying, "What's your opinion on this?" It's like, why is that a blown up trend? Like, just ask, "What are your thoughts on this topic?" Or like, you know, like it doesn't make any sense. Like, why does this stuff blow up?
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I completely agree. Like, I'm almost like when I get on Twitter, I have to like Google what does this word mean because I seriously I don't know half the time. Like the stonks meme thing, I had no idea what that even was, and I looked it up and it's like, oh, it has something to do with stocks. Like it's a meme on like stocks. I was like, oh, okay. I just didn't understand it. Like I didn't get it. And you know, I've seen like talks about like, you know, years down the road, if people look back on right now and see some of the images that were made, people are going to be so confused because they're not going to know what any of it means. It's basically be like, you know, hieroglyphics. They're going to have to do some research in order to translate them, because I really, you know, I don't know, maybe and it makes me feel like stupid old because I'm 26, but I feel like I'm like 96. It's like I don't understand what anybody, like, they might as well be speaking a different language. I don't know, but I can't keep up with it, and it just stuff pops up so fast, and I mean, you
you're
know,
just not cool anymore, Amy. You're
I guess I'm
not
just
cool.
not cool anymore. I guess that's just a sign that I just need to give up. You know, I just can't keep up with the internet anymore. You know, like, and you know, we're all streamers here, so we spend a great deal of time on the internet. But even with that, I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, I went to bed last night and I woke up and there's a new language now. What does all of this mean? I have to get out my Google machine to understand. You know, I don't know.
Just the fact that you guys brought it up, like hieroglyphics, it's like, think about in like 200 years from now, when society's evolved so much and they just look back somehow and find like old SpongeGar memes or something, or the Pikachu what face meme, and they're like, why was this funny? And they have no context. That's all I'm thinking about when you guys say something like that.
I mean, it's true. It's seriously true.
Yeah,
but I don't understand it.
It's even like regional too is like kind of weird, because like you would think it's like an age thing to call like a shopping cart a buggy and stuff like that, but it's like a regionalized thing. Yeah.
I'm glad I'm not the only one who says buggy, because I'll talk about like, oh yeah, the buggy, and people are like, what? I'm like, sorry, shopping cart.
Yeah, that's what, like, in North Carolina, everybody is like, yo, shopping cart. And we moved out here to Colorado, and everybody's like there was a lot of like people at gas stations and stuff. They're like, yeah, you can go get the buggy and stuff like that. And we're like, what are you talking about? Like, I have no idea what you're referencing. And we were like, you mean the shopping cart? They're like, yeah, the buggy. We were like, okay, all right, that makes sense, I guess. It's just like, even past like weird age trends, there's weird regionalized trends that make no sense outside of that region too. And it's just like, I have no idea what you're talking about, but I'm gonna pretend I am.
Yeah. Grilled cheese or grilled toasty? Grilled cheese. Grilled cheese, man.
Yeah, it's grilled cheese. You know the best way to do that? You fry like a piece of bologna, and then you put that in the grilled cheese before you like put the sandwich together.
That's a whole different level.
Yeah.
You want a whole different level.
You've got to add layers to it.
This is evolved grilled cheese.
Yeah, that's how you get the extra like flavor in there. The fried bologna just adds like a whole another level of savory goodness. That's how you got to do it.
Get all that bologna.
Yeah, you guys are foodies. I gotta show you the ways. Yeah.
Show me the way. That's something I do think is funny. Some of the internet memes I don't understand, but Ugandan knuckles, gosh dang it, I know it's considered dead by now, but that's still funny. Okay,
yeah,
if you don't think that's funny, you need to get a better sense of humor, because that's hilarious.
Oh.
Yeah, we actually do. We have a restaurant here that it says cheese toasty on the menu.
Cheese toasties.
I
A lot
like-
of restaurants call them like cheese melts.
Right? And it's like, no, that's just a grilled cheese. Be normal.
well, I think the melt is like, you're gonna call me crazy, but I believe it's considered like different because of the stuff that's in it. Like there's like Steak and Shake has some type of melt, and it's got I think like beef or something in it. That's why it's called a melt over grilled cheese.
Well, I've seen some places just call like it's just 2 slices of bread and like 2 cheeses, and they just call it the cheese melt. It's like,
Okay.
I don't know, man. That's just a grilled cheese. Like you're just toasting bread and just adding cheese in there. I don't know what else you're supposed to call that.
That's when you just point at the menu and be like, I want that. Like I'm always if I go to something like a Chinese restaurant or a Mexican restaurant or something, I'm always like super scared and paranoid that I'm gonna pronounce it super wrong and they're gonna get like greatly offended by that. So I'm just like, I want that one, and I just point at it and they're like, oh, you want the blah 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 blah. Yes, that what you said, you know. It's like, yeah, you you said it better than I could have. I want the 2 pieces of bread with cheese in it. That.
It's
Give
got
me
a
that.
fancy name. I'm interested in it.
Yeah, I can't pronounce it, but I read the ingredients, so I want it.
That's funny because I've met people that don't know stuff like escargot, and they'll like order it, or like if you guys know what Rocky Mountain oysters are,
Yes.
people order those and they don't know what they are, and they're like, oh, I'm ordering oysters, and it's like, no, you're not ordering oysters. I promise you. It's just like, yeah, you should probably look it up on Google real quick because that's not what you want. I promise you.
Yeah, it's like you might want to check yourself there. Kind of related to that. Okay, so some of you guys know this. I organize streamer meetups in Huntsville. So we had one a little while back, and after the meetup, we went to IHOP, and Lord bless him, it was Sniper on. He's got numbers at the end of his name. I can't remember, but anyways, good dude. He was there hanging out with us, and he had never had a crepe before, and he wasn't sure on how to pronounce it. And the waitress was already like, you could tell she was 110% done with us because it was a decent sized group that went in there, and they only had like 2 waitresses on staff, so they were kind of super busy, and so there was a ton of us. We weren't like super loud and obnoxious, but we were probably louder than the other people in the restaurant because I mean it was like one big group of us and then just like smaller groups throughout the rest of the place. And so they're taking our orders, and this dude's like, yeah, I want the, I don't remember what flavor it was. I think it was like chocolate was. He's like, chocolate crepes? We just like start laughing, and he's just like dead serious. And it was like an older lady, and she was like, the chocolate crepes? He was like, yeah. And then she laughed, and he was like, why didn't y'all tell me that's not how you pronounce that?
Oh
Like, we didn't have
man.
time. So chocolate crepes. So
I
if
thought
you
you were
guys
gonna
got
say he called it a creep.
we started saying, do you like your chocolate crepes? And he's like, ha ha. Yeah, those crepes. If anybody ever goes to IHOP, be sure to order some crepes.
Crepes.
Oh,
Oh
man.
jeez.
That sounds like. Did he assume it was like Spanish or something? Like,
I don't know. I mean, if you've never heard of crepes and you've never ordered them, if you look at it, it does look like it would be crepes. You know, it looks like it would have like a, you know, like that little crepe at the end because the way it's spelled. But it was funny, and he was just like, "Oh, okay, ha ha ha," you know, kind of picked fun at it too.
What was that crepe?
Crepe. Pinkies up crepes. Let me go eat at my fancy Taco Bell with my crepe. I want to fancy
funny.
nice crepes. Yeah, so now you guys learned something. It's actually crepes.
There you go. You heard it here first.
You get a marg and a blueberry crepe.
Crepe. A marg and a crepe.
Oh, dude, that's funny. No, I would roast a friend real hard if they did something like that, because I've had people do that in public, and it's just really funny, especially because like just what you were saying, like going to Spanish restaurants or Mexican restaurants, particularly where they have the menu in Spanish for the items. And you don't know how to pronounce it, so you just avoid it, and people just say it completely wrong, and you just see the look on like usually like the waiter or waitress's face, and they just kind of like, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, so I definitely get you on that.
Yeah, because you know, like in Spanish, a lot of J's are pronounced more of like an H.
Yeah.
So you know, it's like, yeah, I want those jalapenos.
Exactly.
So yeah, the struggle is
dude.
real.
Well,
No,
go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that's why you got to be a true intellectual and just know everything before you go.
I would like some jalapenos on my crepes.
Yeah, you gotta figure it out. You gotta figure out like, where are we going? Okay, let me just look up the menu before we go and put it in Google Translate. Just do something like that. That's how you do. That's how you handle those situations, so you avoid embarrassing yourself. That's the best way to do it.
For sure.
Well, we've been going now for 2 hours, a little over 2 hours, and I think it's probably a good time for us to wrap it up here. Shav, it's
we're all
been
getting sleepy.
we're all getting sleepy. Everybody's starting to yawn. I'm
We're
actually
all hungry now.
Yeah, actually, I am super hungry right now. Thank you so very much for our wonderful food conversation. Shav, where can people find you at, man?
So my two main ones are going to be mixer.com/Shavrolet, SHAVROLET. And then we got twitter.com/Shavrolet. And then Instagram is just the Shavrolet. So those are the easiest places to find me. Like I said before, I play a lot of Clone Hero, but I do a little bit of variety, TFT, Overwatch, all that fun stuff. So it's a lot of random stuff almost anybody can get into and find something they like for. So yeah.
Okay. Awesome. And everybody, you guys know where you can find myself. Basically just Twitch. Ignore Twitter. I'm not as good with social media. I'm actually very horrible at it.
He's not too good on the tweeters, you know.
No,
That tweet machine.
I am not. I'm awful at it, but
You'll learn. It's okay.
yeah, I'll learn. Maybe one day.
Well, don't worry. We'll teach you. You have time.
But it's been a lot of fun. Been a lot of good laughs. It's fun getting to talk with you a little bit, Chevrolet, and
You guys too.
I don't know what we're gonna do next. Like I really didn't have a plan for today because I'm gonna have to call Amy and I out here. We didn't have the weird interview questions ready. We were
But it worked out.
It did work out. We did have a good time.
We talked about crazy concert people, food, us being too old to understand the internet lingo, the Switch, and a lot of other stuff that I don't even remember at this point because we've been talking about so much random stuff, but it's been awesome.
Yeah, and how to butcher food names.
Yes,
badly.
that's like a subgenre of the food talk.
Yeah.
That's a very important thing is how to butcher food names.
Yep.
But all right, I guess we can go ahead and hop off of here. Well, if you guys would stick around for a raid, we will try to see. Actually, I'll just go ahead and look. Who do we have that's live right? Let's take a look here. And get everybody's
opinion. An Atlas with. She's playing Elder Scrolls Online. We have Gamer Dad who's doing art, which he paints like miniature figures. Tainted Rumbler is playing Siege. Mo Beta TV is playing DayZ, and then we have Chris versus Game, which is playing Remnant from the Ashes. So what does everybody want to see?
What does the chat feel like we're going to see, guys? You guys wanna? We got well, we actually got a pretty wide variety there, to pick from. Or if you guys have an opinion. Anna PL votes Gamer Dad.
Okay.
May just end up
I'm fine with
going with Gamer Dad. All right, we'll send a raid over to Gamer Dad. So if you would guys stick around for. Oh, we got one for Daisy. We need a tiebreaker here. We need a tiebreaker. And now there's ESO. I'm being trolled. I'm being trolled.
So we've got one for Art, one for Daisy, and one for ESO. Okay. Somebody come on, break the tie. We have a 3-way tie here.
Somebody can do it. Come on. Is Ropeneck still around? I'm gonna call him out. Fix this. I know these guys, so I have no say in this. Well, hey, Trev.
What kind of game would you want to see? Elder Scrolls Online, painting minis, Siege, Daisy, or the Remnant from the Ashes, which is pretty new, I think.
Yeah, actually, I think that just came out. Yeah, Ropeneck says ESO. We got two. We got two for ESO. I'll give Trev a chance. Kind of like I threw Ropeneck out there, but I didn't know if Trev would respond. I want to give him, make this interesting. I'm making it more complicated. I fixed it and now I'm breaking it again, guys. If you're noticing a trend yet.
Yeah.
But
it's okay. We'll sort it out.
Yeah. I think it looks like ESO wins, so we're not hearing a response. So I got to get this going. I borked it. I did. I borked it. Pick someone and stick with it. Nope, Ropeneck, you get to know that you are the one that helped break the tie.
Palace gave some biddies.
Oh snap, yo,
well.
Palace, thank you for the biddies. Here, I give you the point. I got to point at the camera. All right, guys. So stick around for the raid. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. I'm It's Paladin. I'm pointing the wrong way, I think. But go ahead. Do it. Say it. No?
Oh, I'm mshoboslayer. Sorry.
And I'm Shavrolet.
There we go. All right. We totally worked on that. Totally. But all right, guys. Thanks for hanging out. It's been fun. And we'll see you guys next Wednesday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. See you later.
Bye.
There we go. Okay.